Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I am your host, the One Take Man. As of the time of this video's release, it should already be the first weekend of June, and therefore a lot of you will have seen potentially a lot more rainbow flags than you would typically see. So, Pride Month is back and and at full strength. And I thought, you know what? Let's let's look a little bit at uh, uh, why it happened, how it happens currently, and because I kind of want to, because I kind of think that with the current cultural climate, at least within the Western sphere of politics, videos like this one, even though they are even though it would dignify them to a high degree to call them small fry, still deserve to be still deserve to be made and still need to be um, and still need to be part of the conversation. So for that reason, I'm going to get right into it by reading the Wikipedia article for Pride Month. Pride Month, sometimes specified as LGBTQ Pride Month, is a month-long observance dedicated to the celebration of LGBTQ pride, commemorating the contributions of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer parentheses (LGBTQ) culture and community. Pride Month is observed in June in the United States, coinciding with the anniversary of the 1969 Stonewall riots, a series of gay liberation protests. We'll get to those later in the month. But for now, let's continue with this article. It's Wikipedia, so don't expect too many details, but there are plenty of additional sources and articles if you wanna read. Like there's Stonewall riots. We'll get to those. We have here gay liberation, which is etc. Which is its own article, and various others throughout the throughout this throughout this page. So if you want to, you can look at them in your own time. For now, I will continue reading. Going into history, origins, further information under gay liberation. Okay. The first Pride marches were held in 4 U.S. cities in June 1970, 1 year after the riots at the Stonewall Inn. The New York City March, promoted as the Christopher Street Liberation Day, alongside parallel marches in Chicago, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Is it Los Angeles or Los Angeles? I don't know. I think both work. Marked a watershed moment for LGBT rights. An organizer of some of the first matches, Fred Sargent, stated the goal was to commemorate the Stonewall riots and further push for liberation. He noted that while the first marches were more akin to a protest than a celebration, Pride is always a protest before it is a celebration. Every kind of endeavor towards towards protecting your rights is always a protest before it is a celebration. It helped to remind people of LGBT communities and how they may include one's family and friends. Transgender women and people of color, including Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, and Storme de Larverie, I assume that's how that's read, were largely excluded or silenced during the early marches, despite their prominent participation in the initial riots. Yeah, that is also true. I learned about Pride Month and Christopher Street Days, etc. Sometime before I found out who Marsha P. Johnson was. In all fairness, the queer community, particularly the parts of it that face intersectional discrimination, are a little bit better when it comes to remembering these more these outcast contributors, at least to their when it comes to the early history. Spread and celebration. Following the Stonewall riots and the first Pride marches, the number of LGBT groups rapidly increased, and the Pride movement spread across the United States after a few years. While many Pride celebrations around the world are held in June, some cities vary the observation at different times, partially due to local weather conditions. I imagine, it would not be ruled out for various, for various cities to celebrate individual milestones for, for queer rights, and therefore have various LGBTQ themed celebrations, and on other days as well. That's something to consider. Polyamory Pride Day is celebrated every year on a day in Pride Month. That's delightfully non-specific. Recognition. As June became recognized as Pride Month in the United States to commemorate the Stonewall Uprising, yeah, not writing doesn't always people's strong suit. Anyway, President Bill Clinton officially declared in a presidential proclamation June Gay and Lesbian Pride Month in 1999. Barack Obama expanded the official Pride Month recognition in 2011, including the entirety, or the whole, of the LGBT community. I prefer the entirety. I don't know, it sounds fuller, Though it might have the counter effect of inflating Obama's importance, but you know what? That's fine. He deserves to have his importance at least a little bit inflated, especially when considering the crap he had to put up with while in office. Donald Trump declined to offer federal recognition of Pride Month in 2017, though he issued supportive public statements in a series of tweets in 2019. Let's be honest, Donald Trump is talking through both sides of his mouth, so you really can't trust. So there's very little you can actually trust of what it is he says, unless it benefits, his backers. You can pretty much guarantee that he doesn't mean it. And I just guaranteed myself that I will not be visiting the United States at any time soon. Joe Biden recognized Pride Month after taking office in 2021 and vowed to push for LGBT rights in the United States. I can't really confirm to what extent he actually did that, because I'm neither of that community nor am I in the United States, even though I am somewhat connected to that specific group of people through for various means. But I can say that at the very least they are the public pressure that came over there has been lessened during those times. And okay, Biden made that recognition despite previously voting against same-sex marriage and school education of LGBT topics in the Senate. Does that count as him reforming, or does that count as him changing with regards to which politics would be more favorable to him? You make the call. Pride Month has since, not since 2021, it already was at the time, grown into a global celebration of LGBTQ plus culture and identity. Pride Month is often observed in LGBT-affirming religious congregations. Citation needed. Citation is me. I am familiar with various LGBT-affirming religious congregations or clergymen, or clergy people, so to speak, and I can safely say that they do at least recognize or hold special events for Pride Month. In February 2025, Google announced that Pride Month would no longer be highlighted by default on Google Calendar, arguing that it was no longer scalable or sustainable to continue adding the growing number of national and international cultural moments manually to its calendar. Google, you are literally starting up nuclear power plants, plural, more than one, in order to power up your AI bullshit. Don't give me this crap about how it's about how you can't hire some more people in order to pull switches when you're hiring a lot more people to do a lot more. Okay, so get this scalable or sustainable bullshit out of here. Anyway, International LGBT Pride Day, not to be confused with World Pride, because that's a thing as well. International LGBT Pride Day is a day dedicated to LGBT pride, held on June 28th to commemorate the anniversary of the Stonewall riots. As I said, as will I. Prior to the entire month becoming associated with LGBT pride. The San Francisco Pride March was promoted as the International Lesbian and Gay Freedom Day Parade from 1981 to 1994. You can't help but wonder how international San Francisco is, to this day as well. Likely the origin of an international Pride Day. The Serbian group Arcadia, I assume that's how that's spoken. While my birth country neighbors Serbia, I can't necessarily say I'm familiar with the language or its phonotactics. Serbian group Arcadia commemorated International Pride Day in 1991 with a forum concerning queer activism and art at Belgrade Youth Center. Yeah, not surprising. Nicaragua's first public pride festival was also held on this day in 1991 to commemorate the Stonewall riots. Serbia also marked International Pride Day in between 2013 and 2015 with hate-free zone actions organized by GSN, Women in Black, and other NGOs. Serbia, or at least the Serbian state, has since affirmed some level of solidarity with the Russian Federation and its stance on a variety of social issues, including LGBT issues, which is not positive, so to speak. However, there have been protests against that, at least somewhat recently, as of the time of this video's production, which is roughly mid-April. So it'll be interesting to see, how that changes moving forward. Criticism. Further information under rainbow capitalism and religion and LGBT people. Let's see. Some have criticized how many companies release Pride Month themed products, likening it to the concept of slacktivism, as the companies are perceived to be using the topic of LGBT rights as a means of profit without contributing to the movement in a meaningful way. Yeah, that's kind of true. You really don't get the impression that they're their hearts are in it, or that whoever is responsible for the company or for the way it presents itself really cares about these topics. It does often come across as just a movement to just a movement to curtail some kind of public favor and make themselves seem more approachable or more more interesting, more welcoming. Others have criticized the seemingly hypocritical nature of companies making social media profiles evoke the rainbow pride flag while refusing to alter the profile pictures in areas without broad LGBT acceptance. Yeah, that's true. That also happens. On the other hand, the fact that companies notice that that their influence is is improved by that means that queer people are become an important factor, an important demographic within within social messaging. So in that sense, it does at least show that the rights of queer people are respected in that specific sense. So while I'm not the biggest fan of rainbow capitalism, I'm not going to criticize any company for putting rainbows up. I will criticize them for other stuff though. Some religious and cultural groups oppose Pride Month on ideological grounds. People just exist. That's not an ideology. That's a fact. That's fact. They view LGBTQ plus identities and relationships as contrary to their beliefs and traditions. Well, there are plenty of LGBTQ affirming religious congregations, so that doesn't really matter. They don't really have a ideological leg to stand on. They may have an interpretation, but that's about it. These objections often lead to tensions and conflict during Pride Month, and yeah. There's a link there, talking about links. Well, what's that link talking about actually? religious beliefs and views of homosexuality by The Spectator, quoting Pew Research Center. Okay. Months of the year. New Zealand. Pride Month is celebrated at different times throughout New Zealand. In Auckland, it's February, and in Christchurch and Wellington, Pride Month is in March. Not sure for what reasons. I assume those are the weather-related changes. Even though, no, that actually works. In Canada, rather than Pride Month, celebrations are held from June to September in what is known as Pride Season. Okay, that's that's interesting to look at. I'm sure they have their own reasons, but I don't necessarily trust the Wikipedia to fully go into into how that came to be. So I will stop for now. Anyway, that was that was it. That was your primer on what characterizes Pride Month. If you'd like to know more, I suggest you go to the this article. I'll link it in the description as well, and then maybe check it out at the time of this though it might change between the time of this video's production and the time you get to see it, and maybe even check out all the other articles it links to. That is bound to give you some interesting information as well. You could also find some interesting information further down in the See Also section in references, or in the external links, and where you have a whole bunch of other points of discussion, where you can go to better inquire, better inform yourself on Pride Month, if you're interested. For now, however, I would like to say thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like the video. Maybe even share it wherever you think other people will also like the video. If there is anything you'd like to add, either to the idea behind the theme, or to my presentation of a summary, well then that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next videos get released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. I also have a main channel where I primarily do book reviews, but I also talk about other points of interest regarding the topic of literature, a link to which you can find in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. If that doesn't sound interesting to you, then I suggest you stay on this channel and go for my extensive backlog of a variety of different things. Sometimes, though quite rarely, it's research. Other times it's commentary. Other times it's gameplay. Other times it's reviews and other such topics. Well, really whatever I find interesting in the moment is is bound to be up there. And if none of these topics interest you, I suggest you go ahead and do whatever you want the rest of your day, because it is your day after all. And yeah, that was it for me. So until next time, I have been the One Take Man.